If you've been riding as long as I have, you've seen some pretty dumb things on two wheels. Stuff that makes you want to pull a guy over and shake some sense into him. And I get it. We've all been new. We've all made mistakes. But there are some things that go way beyond learning the ropes and straight into dangerous territory. Things you should never do on a motorcycle if you want to keep yourself and everyone around you safe. These aren't just little bad habits that might cost you a few bucks in repairs. These are the things that can get you killed. And I don't say that lightly. Whether it's riding behavior, maintenance screw-ups, or gear mistakes, there are some lines you just don't cross if you want to enjoy a long life on two wheels. So today, I'm laying it out. The stuff that separates riders who actually know what they're doing from the ones who are gambling with their lives. Some of these might ruffle a few feathers, but hey, if it makes you think twice before doing something reckless, it's worth it. So let's get started. Number 1, never ride without practicing emergency maneuvers. You'd be surprised how many riders spend all their time cruising in a straight line and never practice what to do when something goes wrong. They think that if the time comes, they'll just figure it out. Well, guess what? When you're about to crash, there's no time to figure anything out. You either react properly or you hit the ground. Let me tell you something from experience. Panic makes people freeze. I've seen guys get cut off in traffic, and instead of swerving or braking properly, they lock up the brakes, stare at the car, and crash right into it. Why? Because they never trained their brain and body to react. Emergency braking, swerving, quick stops, these are skills that save lives, but only if you've practiced them. And no, I'm not talking about practicing once and thinking you're good for life. You've got to refresh those skills regularly. Even seasoned riders hit a parking lot every now and then to run drills and stay sharp. Your skills are what'll save you, not wishful thinking. So, if you've never practiced braking hard without skidding or swerving around an obstacle, you are not ready for the real thing. Don't just ride, train. Number 2, never ride without gear, no matter how short the trip. I don't care if you're just heading around the block or to the corner store. Leaving the gear at home is one of the dumbest things you can do. Every time I see a guy riding in shorts, a t-shirt, and flip-flops, I just shake my head. You're not riding a beach cruiser, you're riding a machine that will throw you to the pavement at 60 miles an hour if anything goes wrong. People always say, well, it's just a short ride, what could happen? You know what? Most accidents happen close to home. That quick trip is where a distracted driver can pull out in front of you, where a car door can swing open, or where a patch of gravel can send you sliding. And when you hit the ground wearing nothing but a t-shirt, your skin becomes the brake pads. You don't slide like in the movies. You stick, you tumble, and you lose chunks of yourself in the process. Road rash isn't just a little scrape. It's layers of skin, muscle, sometimes even bone. I've been down before, and I can tell you, good gear makes the difference between walking away and getting wheeled into an ambulance. Jacket, gloves, helmet, boots, every single time. People say, but it's too hot for gear. You know what's hotter? A hospital bed with bandages from head to toe. Number 3, never slam the front brake in a panic. I've seen this one too many times. A rider gets spooked and grabs the front brake like they're trying to rip it off the handlebars. And what happens? The front wheel locks up and they go down like a sack of bricks. Look, your front brake is your best friend when it comes to stopping fast. But if you don't know how to use it properly, it can also be your worst enemy. Grabbing it suddenly and with too much force is a rookie mistake that can end with your face in the pavement. Braking on a motorcycle isn't like braking in a car. You need to progressively squeeze the lever, not snatch at it. You want to load that front tire, let it grip, and then bring the rest of the stopping power in smoothly. If you just jam it without thinking, especially in a corner or on wet pavement, you're going down hard. The right way to brake? Smooth, controlled input. Front brake, rear brake working together, but never panic grabbing. If you haven't practiced emergency braking in a parking lot or empty road, you're not ready to do it when it counts. Spend time learning how to stop fast and safe before you need to do it for real, because you will need it eventually. Number 4, never ride beyond your skill level to keep up with others. I've seen riders push themselves way too hard because they don't want to be that guy in the group ride, the one who's lagging behind. So they twist that throttle harder than they should, take corners faster than they're comfortable with, and try to hang with riders who've been doing this for years. Let me tell you, that's how accidents happen. Riding a motorcycle is not a competition, and if you start riding like this, you're going to lose. Every rider develops skills at their own pace. What's easy for someone with 20 years of experience might be dangerous as hell for a new rider. And no amount of ego is going to save you when you blow a corner or misjudge a curve. I've seen guys get into trouble trying to keep up in the twisties, overshoot a turn, and go right into the guardrail, or worse, off the road. It's not worth it. If your buddies are real riders, they'll respect you for riding your own pace. And if they don't, find new riding buddies. You can't buy experience, and you can't fake skill. Ride for you, because riding home in one piece is better than impressing anyone. Number 5, never ignore your chain and sprockets. You wouldn't believe how many riders I see out there with chains so dry they squeak like a haunted house door, or sagging so low they could lasso a cow. And yet these folks act surprised when their bike doesn't shift right, or when their rear wheel locks up mid-ride. Let me make it clear, your chain is one of the hardest working parts on your motorcycle, and if you don't take care of it, you're asking for trouble. A neglected chain can snap, throw itself off the sprockets, and in some cases even lock up your rear wheel, which is about the last thing you want happening at 70 miles an hour. Plus, worn sprockets mean your power delivery gets sloppy. Your shifting feels clunky, and you're putting extra stress on your whole drivetrain. And guess what? Fixing a busted chain and sprockets isn't cheap, especially if it takes out something else when it fails. Lubing a chain takes 5 minutes. Adjusting tension? Maybe 10 minutes if you're slow. So ask yourself, would you rather spend 15 minutes now or $1,500 later? Number 6, never ride in someone's blind spot and just sit there. If there's one thing that drives me nuts and should scare every rider, it's seeing bikers just hanging out in a car's blind spot like they're invisible. Listen, I don't care how loud your pipes are or how bright your headlight is. If you're in the blind spot, you're gambling with your life. Drivers aren't looking for you. Most of them are barely paying attention to anything but their phones, GPS, or whatever podcast they're into. If you think sitting next to a car's rear quarter panel is a safe place to cruise along, you're setting yourself up to get sideswiped when they change lanes without checking. And what blows my mind is seeing this all the time on the highway. Bikers just riding in that danger zone, sometimes for miles, like they own the lane. You're not visible to the driver, and if they move over, you've got nowhere to go. What should you do instead? Pass quickly or drop back and create space, because if you can't see them, they can't see you. Number 7, never ride like you're in a race on the street. The street is not a racetrack. I just shake my head, because it's only a matter of time before that story ends badly. The street is full of unpredictable dangers. Cars changing lanes, pedestrians, potholes, oil slicks, animals. None of that's on a closed circuit. If you want to race, take it to the track. That's where you can push limits in a controlled environment. Plus, you'll actually become a better rider by learning proper high-speed handling under supervision. Number 8, never ride without checking your tires first. I don't care if you're just running down to the gas station or heading out for a weekend trip. If you swing a leg over that bike without checking your tires, you're playing with fire. Tires are the only thing between you and the pavement, and I've seen way too many riders eat asphalt because they thought, they were fine last time I rode. Checking your tires takes 2 minutes. Grab a gauge, check the pressure, look for cracks, flat spots, and worn out tread. Tires are cheaper than hospital bills or funerals. Number 9, never ride without knowing the road conditions. I can't tell you how many times I've seen riders blast down a road they've never been on before like it's a racetrack. And let me tell you, that's how you hit a patch of gravel in a corner or find a pothole that'll snap your front forks in half. If you don't know what's around the next bend, why would you ride like you do? The worst crashes I've seen didn't happen because someone was going fast in a straight line. They happened because a rider entered a corner too hot, hit sand or water, and laid it down hard. Even roads you know can betray you. Maybe the last time you rode that back road, it was clean and dry, but today it's got fresh oil from some leaking car or gravel from a truck. Conditions change fast, and if you're not paying attention, you'll be on the ground before you know it. A smart rider scans the road ahead, adjusts their speed, and watches for little things. A shiny spot that could be oil, a dark patch that could be water, leaves, sand, or just busted up asphalt. Because one thing's for sure, the road won't warn you before it bites. Number 10, never ride tired or distracted. This one might sound obvious, but you'd be shocked how many riders think they can hop on a bike half asleep or mentally checked out and be fine. On a motorcycle, you can't afford to lose focus, not even for a second. Unlike a car, you don't have a steel cage around you to save you from a mistake. If your mind isn't 100% on the ride, you're at risk. I've seen guys get on a bike after working a 12-hour shift, thinking they're okay to ride home. And guess what? They weren't. One guy I knew dozed off for a second while riding, and that second was all it took for him to miss a curve and end up in a ditch. Distraction isn't just bad. You're not checking your mirrors, not scanning for hazards, not noticing that driver about to pull out in front of you, because your head's somewhere else. And if you think a little zoning out won't matter, just remember that it only takes one split-second mistake to end your ride for good. So if you're tired, pull over. If your mind's somewhere else, take a break. You're better off arriving late than not arriving at all. Number 11, never ride too close to the vehicle in front of you. I see it all the time. Guys riding 6 feet behind a car like they're drafting for NASCAR. You're on a motorcycle, not a stock car. Tailgating in a car is dumb enough, but on a bike? It's borderline suicidal. If that car slams on the brakes, you don't have time to react, and you're eating that bumper. Or worse, getting launched over it. You have way fewer options on a bike if things go wrong because you've got no crumple zones, no airbags, just you and a thin layer of leather. And beyond the danger, riding that close also means you can't see what's ahead. You don't see that pothole, that chunk of tire, that oil slick, until it's too late to avoid it. I always say leave enough space so that if the car ahead hits a wall, you've got time to stop. Your life depends on those extra few feet. Trust me, nobody will think you're a cool rider because you were glued to someone's bumper right before you slammed into them. Number 12, never assume you're seen. Act like you're invisible. One of the worst habits new riders have, and some seasoned ones too, is assuming that drivers see them. Drivers aren't looking for motorcycles. They're looking for cars, trucks, buses, big things that take up space. And even when they do see you, they don't always process it. Their brain sees you, but doesn't recognize the threat until it's too late. So, if you're riding like everyone sees you, you're doing it wrong. You need to ride like you're invisible. That means never assuming they'll yield, never assuming they'll check their mirrors, and always having an escape route. I've been cut off, almost merged into, and had people turn left in front of me more times than I can count. And every time, I was ready, because I assumed they wouldn't see me. That mindset has saved my life more than once. Be defensive, stay out of blind spots, cover your brakes, and always, always assume they're about to do something stupid. Number 13, never riding without knowing your exit in traffic. Here's something a lot of riders don't think about. Where's your escape route? When you're in traffic, boxed in by cars, you've got nowhere to go if things go south. And believe me, things go south fast on the road. I always ride with an exit plan. If the car ahead of me slams on the brakes, where am I going? If someone starts merging into my lane, what's my move? If you don't have those answers, you're just hoping for luck. And that's a terrible strategy on a motorcycle. Drop a comment below. Let's swap some stories and maybe help some new riders avoid learning these lessons the hard way.